Hello, all you coin aficionados out there, and welcome again to the DC Coin World International coin channel. Today we're going to take a look at a mystery coin that I was given. And somebody said, look, can you take this and take a look at it and figure out what it is? And I said, look, I'll try. And just based on what other coins I've seen, I might be able to figure out what it is. So let's take a look at it. I see up here it says King very clearly. Well, not very clearly. It's worn as all get out, right? And it looks like this crown here in the top. And this says EMPE. So I bet that it says King Emperor, which is a British nominal title. And this looks like a GEO, like a George. So it's George the 5th or George the 6th would be my guess. If we look at the back of the coin, we can see a 1 on it, and we can see a 1919. This reminds me of an Indian coin where it has the 4 languages, Urdu, Telugu, Bengali, and Devnagari around the outside. I believe this is probably a 1 coin, ANNA. And if it is, it would have the 1 in the center, an AN here, and an NA here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually look up on the internet, and I'm going to put in King Emperor or George King Emperor and see what I get. And when I do that, what I get is a coin site, which is Numista. But it looks like there's a couple other coin sites there that I can get also. And if I click on it, I see that there is a there's a 1 anna coin from George the 5th, and there's a 1 anna coin from George the 6th. So if I go to my collection, I can pull the 1 anna coin from George the 6th, I'm sorry, because I have it. So I'm going to put it right up next to it and see. Well, we'll start with the back. So there's 1 anna. These both have scalloped edges, and they each have 12 scalloped edges. Has a 1 in the center. I got this one upside down. That's my great English skills. So there's a 1 in the center, 1, and we can see the little bit of anna here. So this looks a lot like the old same coin to me. See how it comes down and there's a bow kind of here in the different languages. I believe this is a 1 anna coin from India, and you can see this one says India. This says 1945. So we know it's probably in that range. And then when we look at the front, we see that there is King George the 6th over here wearing the crown. But the profile looks slightly different, doesn't it? For one thing, this one's lower. It seems to have a different kind of crown, and the king comes before the top of the crown, or the jeweled cross on the top of the crown. So king. So now I'm thinking that this coin here is not from George the 6th, it's from George the 5th. So I pull up Numista, George the 5th, and I can see that on the back here. Let me see if I can see it. And I should have seen this in the first place, right? But I didn't go until later. It says 1919. Well, I know that in 1919, George the 6th was not king. George the 5th was king. So let me pull up Numista. I'll go to 1919. And darn if I don't come right to the website. And it's a 1 anna coin with George the 6th, King Emperor, it says. It's a copper nickel coin, which makes sense because that's about what this looks like. It was made from 1912 to 1936, so that makes sense if it's a 1919. And it has the same 12 scalloped edges. And this particular one also would have a mint mark on it if we could see the mint mark. And 1919, it was made only in Bombay. So in fact, it would not have a mint mark in 1919. There would be no mint mark. And we need to remember that that was the year that World War I ended, and Britain was just getting back on track, or trying to get back on track, and so was India after World War I. And they minted 122 almost 123 million of these coins, 1 anna coins in 1919. And this one looks like it got used right from the start. It's a copper nickel coin, 3.8 grams. It probably weighs a lot less than that now. So I think that's what we've got here. We've got a 1919 1 anna coin from the country of India. And if we follow it through and kind of think about how these things go, we should always be able to figure it out. And I got one more way to kind of show it, and that is I also have right here, and this is a 1/12 anna coin. In the 1/12 anna coin, if we look at George V over here on a 1/12 anna coin, we see it king with the cross and the crown in between, king, cross and the crown in between. We can actually tell by looking at this one that it is the same crown on his head here as it is here. And we can actually see the mustache in the brow of George V. So it's definitive. This is the 1919 George V 1 anna coin from the country of India. All right, we'd love to have you subscribe to our coin channel, the DC Coin World International Coin channel. And if you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section.